right, Raven, what are you wearing today?
First of all, happy Halloween.
Okay, yeah, happy Halloween. Hi.
I mean, Halloween, I feel like has been taking forever to get here. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it? The Thursday felt so good, but also the most confusing thing for people. So next year when it's on a Friday, I don't even want to know. People are going to be so fucking confused still. Anyways, okay. We're going to start this new segment always off with what we're wearing because that just makes sense for you guys in case you're ever wondering. I'm wearing an IMG dress. Actually, no, I'm lying. It's a Jaded London dress.
You know, I thought it was a Jaded London dress, but when you said IMG, I was like, oh my god,
Isn't it weird those fast fashion brands just fucking gets you sometimes?
Yeah.
They're all kind of the same. Also, I'd like to say, I mean, I say this and you guys are not going to believe me, but like I wore IMG from the get-go, like when they first started. Anyways.
Before Euphoria.
Yeah. No, I'm not joking. Like when they first started. But yes, Jaded London, not the knockoffs. I would like to also stay. Also, Jaded London comes out with like great quality stuff. Even though they're fast fashion, great quality.
Good to know.
Also, their team, I went to their pop-up, amazing. Super sweet.
Love to hear that.
Yeah. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing a vintage Maria Bianco Nero dress.
Shocking. Vintage?
Jordan? You know me, can't wear anything fast fashion unless I do.
Unless you see her in that, then she is.
But no, 90% of my wardrobe is thrifted, and the other 10% are small businesses.
I would like to say I do thrifting as well, but even like the fast fashion stereotypically, unless it's for an event, like I got this for Valentine's Day this last year, but if I usually will get it secondhand because I feel like I'm kind of like cheating the system.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's so many consignment places out here that you can get like new drops, but like you're not giving it to the company.
Like Wasteland, I feel like they have everything new. It's just an influencer has worn it once and then sells it to Wasteland.
Wasteland is a place where people can sell their items that they get, and a lot of influencers, because they get so many free items, they never wear them.
Not us, but...
No, not yet. They will just sell brand new items, and so it's like I can get the latest line of Jaded London from that place, but I will say, did you see that Silver Lake opened to Wasteland?
I did.
I was very excited and I stopped in. I've only gone once, but the Silver Lake location has really good guy stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as like
a man, go check it out.
Go check it out, but also like as a woman with a boyfriend or like brothers or whoever, like I feel like that's such a good place. Like I used to be, I'm like a gift giver. That's definitely like one of my love languages, and I think that is such a good place. I would love to get like my go-to. Do you have a go-to guy gift?
Usually just going to Buck Mason and buying some basics. Yeah.
Okay. I try to go to Wasteland and find like a really cool hype piece, like either jewelry, like accessories, or like a sweatshirt or a t-shirt.
I feel like sweatshirts and sweatpants are so good for guys because they never buy themselves nice versions of those pieces.
Yeah.
So like growing up with my brother, I would always for Christmas buy him like a nice like sweatpants sweatshirt duo.
Okay.
And he literally still owns like 90% of them. Like the pants he was wearing at our party.
Yeah.
I bought for him for Christmas like 2 years ago from Urban.
That.
Yeah.
I think that guys just like are kind of nervous about stepping out also in the fashion world. It's just different. Yeah. Like it's unless you're like surrounded by other guys that are a little bit different. Mm-hmm. They don't really want to wear that. Like my brother came into town a couple weeks. What feels like a couple weeks ago. Life is flying by. But he came in town. And he is 16 years old, and I essentially brought him to the Silver Lake Fleet, to Wasteland, to all these different hypebeast stores, and reset his entire closet with shoes and outfits and everything. And he has now opened up to this idea of like what fashion looks like. And I feel like guys don't usually get introduced to that. But because I'm a great older sister, I'm helping him, break into that shell. But a lot of guys don't do that until later on.
Yeah, I found that to be the case.
But that's something I definitely look for in guys, is like if they have a good sense of fashion.
Oh, same. My ex and I like bonded over the fact that we both like were obsessed with vintage clothes.
Yes.
And that's definitely something I'm like looking for in a new person, is someone that has like the same sort of values in shopping. And secondhand shopping specifically.
Okay.
I love to find a man with like cool vintage fashion taste.
I agree.
And like me and my ex literally used to be vendors at the Rose Bowl.
So crazy.
Trading, post whatever.
I wonder if I ever saw you. That's
probably not, because we did it once together, and I said this was the worst experience in my life, and so then I let him and our
Wait, what
roommate
made
do
it like a bad experience?
Waking up at 3 a.m. to get there at
that'll
4 a.m. for the early shoppers at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Also, our elevator in our building was broken, so we had to lug all of our clothes and racks and everything down 5 flights of stairs.
No.
I moved out of that place maybe 8 months later, and the elevator still wasn't fixed. And I still had to pay full rent.
That's insane.
Fuck you, 5550 Wilshire.
Okay, well, where you did COVID there?
Yeah, that's where me and my ex lived during
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID was like such a crazy time.
Yeah, well,
Isn't it crazy to like think that we were part of a pandemic?
Oh,
like, the concept of it, actually fucking insane.
The craziest part is like in February of 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
I remember watching the like Pandemics Explained episode where Bill Gates is literally sitting there being like, "We're about to have a pandemic," and I was like, "Wouldn't that be crazy?"
No way.
Literally a month later.
I was working at a retail store on Melrose Place, and from a friend of mine, a friend of a friend who worked in a hospital, it was like in November in 2019. She was like, "Hey, things are getting serious. You should stock up." And I told my work, and they were like, "That's not going to be an issue." And I was like, "Get some fucking hand sanitizer." I'm like, "Please." And I remember her apologizing after having to lay off everybody because we couldn't go to work. And she was like, "I should have listened to you." And I was like, "Yeah."
It's kind of like a crazy thing to believe, though. Like,
oh, it's like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You're like, the world is actually going to shut down. Nobody can go to work. We're going to run out of toilet paper.
Every email, like, these are unprecedented times.
Because
no one knew what to do.
Yeah. And also, like, I can't imagine being in school during that time. That would be so disappointing. Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was in college.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was in my sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally had to move out, so I lived with 5 other girls.
Yeah.
In a 2-bedroom apartment, and we all had bunk beds. Queen-size bunk beds, but nonetheless, we were, like, smushed in like sardines. And my grandma is gonna turn 101 in April. So I was like very worried about getting COVID and spreading it to my mom, who would spread it to my grandma.
Yes, yeah.
So I actually like ended up breaking my lease and moving out with another one of the roommates who was also like not trying to get this disease. And that's when I also moved in with my ex.
Did you ever get COVID?
I ended up getting COVID. No. I didn't get COVID until 2023.
Okay. Same.
Yeah. I was my parents literally used to make us wipe down all our groceries.
Yeah.
We also lived in Ventura, like off the grid for a little bit.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But it was fun because I had a boyfriend at the time.
Right. Entertained.
Yeah, so I was
I
very
lived with
entertained.
a crazy person.
Right.
Who would get upset with me about the fact that I wouldn't play board games with her.
I thought you were gonna be like upset the fact that like you go out. I'd be like, oh, I'm
no. I mean, she wouldn't let me leave the apartment, and if I left the apartment, I would have to immediately take off all my clothes and get in the shower.
Okay, that's a little.
No,
extreme.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you living with my mother?
Yeah, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Okay.
No, and then like even it was a little bit later, I was living with somebody else, and it was a whole thing of like, hey, I don't know if you can come back, I need to travel, like, and I was like, I'm not even sick, the person that I was with whose roommate was sick, like, I don't really know what to do, and that actually created like tension. I think that brought out a lot of tension in between certain people. It was like the differences of the escalation of what COVID was.
No, I literally lost so many college friends.
Right.
Because
wasn't that a weird thing? It's kind of like politics.
I do have to say, this was like a very, very low point in my life because I had said to people like, I'm not going to be going out. I'm not going to be doing these things because I have elderly family members and I live there. I'm from LA. They're all in LA. Yeah. And if I want to go home, which I did, like I'm going to infect them.
Yeah.
So I kind of like laid down my ground rules, and when I realized that my roommates weren't following that, I took my ass out of there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people ended up getting reported to the school, and they all thought it was me.
What?
Yeah, because
like saying
they thought that I was reporting them to the school.
COVID brought the worst out of people.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie, like it really did.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I maybe threatened to report people. I never actually did it though.
Yeah.
But then once people actually started getting in trouble, they were like, "Oh, obviously it was her."
crazy.
And so I lost a lot of friends that way. And I was just, but, you know, if I'm going to lose you as a friend because you think that, like, I'm someone I'm not, then we weren't that close.
No, absolutely. I think it was, like, a very much of, like, a divide of people, but I also think it, like, showed the true colors of people. And also, like, everyone can have opposing views. I think it's very much in the same political aspect of, like, if you could just respect where people are at, then great.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to agree, but, like, if you can respect them, that's huge.
Agreed. So it's Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Can I tell you a story about the time I passed out from fear?
Yes, absolutely, because that's fucking insane.
Winnie
wants to know.
Yeah, so I literally passed out from fright. And not only that, but I was solo traveling at the time.
Okay.
And I was in Canada at the Toronto airport. It was midnight.
Spooky.
I know, so spooky. So I was listening to I Survived, which is a podcast about real life victims telling the stories of how they were almost killed and how they survived.
You were in a spooky mood.
I was. And, you know, I was traveling, so I had a bunch of podcasts downloaded. And so this specific episode was called The Ninja in the Attic.
Okay.
And I remember it because I was so terrifying. But
this doesn't sound terrifying.
Okay, to give you a synopsis.
Okay.
There was this woman, like, semi-middle age, like could be a mother.
Okay.
Who was home alone. Her children and her husband were out. And she had just gotten out of the shower, and she suddenly hears something in her house. And a man dressed in all black, like dressed as a ninja, has suddenly appeared in her bedroom.
The fuck? Okay.
And so he orders her to take all her clothes off, and he sexually assaults her. And then after he's done with that, he takes her back to the bathroom and starts hitting her in the head with a hammer. Yeah, and she's describing everything, like, viscerally. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Like, if you want to hear this episode, like, go. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. Like, I Survived, Ninja in the Attic. But then...
Wait, so she lived?
She lived.
From the hammer?
Yeah. He then goes... So he's hitting her in the head with the hammer repeatedly. Then he goes to take off her wedding ring. It's not coming off, so he decides to, like, chop off her finger. And at this point, she's already playing dead because she's like, he's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So she has to, like, not flinch while he's chopping off her fucking finger.
Could never be me.
And so then he leaves after thinking she's dead. And she is dragging herself through the hallway and dragging herself down the stairs. And so the last thing I remember before I passed out was her talking about how she had zero control over her body and she was slithering down the stairs. And I don't know what happened, but I blacked out. And I was sitting on a bar stool in the airport, and I ended up slouching over to the person next to me, who was like this man, and he kind of just like let me drop to the floor. So I fell off like this 4-foot bar stool onto the ground and was out for like a minute, and I woke up and there were all these people around me and this high ceiling, and I had no idea where I was.
Yeah.
And so I started freaking out. I was like, where am I? And they're like, you're okay, you're in the Toronto airport. And fortunately, also on that same flight was a nurse and a firefighter.
Okay.
And so they were like calming me down, talking me through it, and like getting medical personnel. And also I was in Canada.
Right.
Where it's free healthcare. So they had an ambulance on call for
As
me.
they should. Come on, America, get your shit together.
No, it was absolutely insane. But I have never passed out before in my life. That was my first time ever passing out. And it was due to fear.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Have you passed out since?
No.
Okay.
I know.
So now you know your limits.
I know, I do. And they were like, do you want to go to hospital? Because they don't use like the hospital. They say hospital in Canada. I don't know. They do it in Australia too.
Wait, I don't get that.
Yeah, they say like, you know how we're like, oh, we're going to jail?
Yeah.
So they use that the same way as like, we're going to hospital. Instead of like, I need to go to the hospital. Yeah.
The hospital.
Yeah, exactly. We say the hospital, but
like, we're going to the
But
hospital.
for them, it'd be...
Going hospital? Oh no. Oh no!
For them, it'd be the same as if like we were like, oh, I'm going to the jail. It's like, oh, which jail?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
So anyway, I said, no, I'm not going to hospital. I'm getting on this motherfucking flight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you miss your flight?
No, I got on.
Yeah, you did.
And I sat next to this lovely woman who was like, I'm a mom. I saw you pass out. I'm here for you. And like, I remember like the flight attendant like came to hand out dinner to everyone. And I was like, guess I looked asleep at the time because she skipped me. and I kind of was like, oh no, and the woman next to me flagged the flight attendant down and got them to give me food, and I was like, you're
Everyone in
so
Canada is
sweet.
Amazing.
I know, she was
honestly
incredible.
I would love to date a Canadian man.
Right.
I feel like they would be like so nice.
Probably.
Also, how and why is that a stereotype there?
Just because they are nice. I don't know.
Like, so it's true.
No, literally it's true. Okay, but then once I got to Portugal, which is where I was traveling, I was out at a bar with my friends, and there was this cute boy and his brother and like his friend, and we were talking to them, and they go, "Were you the girl that passed out in the airport?"
No.
And I'm like, "Am I a celebrity now?"
I love
Wait
that
a minute. Yeah,
super fun.
That's my little Halloween spooky story.
Spooky story.
Yeah.
I don't have spooky stories like that, honestly.
That's okay.
I'm more slutty than spooky, you know. that's my
right
my aesthetic of Halloween, which we went out Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I would call that pretty spooky and slutty of us.
Yes, absolutely. Thursday we didn't actually dress up. It was just spooky. We dressed in black, super cute. Vibes weren't 1,000% there. I honestly feel like we might have overhyped the weekend. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think one of the issues is I don't think a lot of people thought that last weekend was Halloweekend.
I agree. A lot of people were like, oh shit, Halloweekend's already happened. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
I think that Thursday, when this drops, everyone will be like going hard.
Yeah.
Because it's Thursday. But then people, the day after, like, do we dress up? Do we not dress up? It's going to be that like weird window. I just feel, this is my controversial opinion. My hot take of the week is I think that you should never celebrate Halloween after Halloween. It makes no sense. Doesn't matter what day it lands on. Even if it's like a prime holiday weekend, no. Like, I don't want to, like, November feels like I want to eat food and cuddle up and watch a movie. Like, that's my vibe.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's time for, like, the Christmas, Thanksgiving
No, stop
pajamas.
mentioning Christmas. I don't
okay,
want...
Hanukkah.
Okay, that'll be okay. But I just want to, like, go into fall mode versus like Christmas is like we're over with spooky, which by the way I still want to hit a pumpkin patch. I didn't do it this yet.
I think that you can totally go to a pumpkin patch in November.
I agree.
As a Thanksgiving activity.
It doesn't have to be spooky.
Yeah, because we can go like harvest pumpkins for pumpkin pie. Yeah,
I love pumpkin pie.
Me too.
It's honestly my favorite pumpkin, like
favorite
pumpkin
pie?
like no like pumpkin thing. Like I don't do pumpkin spice lattes. I don't do any of that. I only do pumpkin pie. I think that's the only thing that I eat that's pumpkin.
Hot take: pumpkin spice lattes are
not good.
They aren't even pumpkin. They're literally just the
sugar.
No, they're just the spice you use for pumpkin pie. It's there's nothing to do with pumpkin. Oh, I know. That's why it's frustrating.
Wait, so does it not taste like pumpkin?
No, it has nothing. It doesn't taste like pumpkin at all. It just like kind of tastes like pumpkin pie because it's the same spices. But they don't. I mean, unless they've changed things recently, but like a traditional pumpkin spice latte is just the spices one would use for a pumpkin pie.
Also, basic bitches, why is it associated with pumpkin spice?
2012, I don't know, man. It was a different time.
It was just like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a basic bitch?
I mean, I love Uggs, and I haven't been to Starbucks in like 3 years, but
Also, what contributes to a basic bitch? I
you
think
know
it's
what?
Going with trends.
Then I would say that I'm not basic at all because 90% of my clothes are secondhand, and I don't shop for trends. I shop for myself, and I think both of us have like built up such personal tastes when it comes to fashion that it's hard to call us basic.
Is basic just fashion? I thought it's also just like
what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because like I'll say I'm basic in the sense of like I go to the trendy spots of the best restaurants to go during that season, or like the going to a pumpkin patch and taking pictures, or like, but I will say fashion wise and food wise, like I don't go to Starbucks and get those things, and I don't wear Uggs and things like that. Or like I like to say I try to stay above a trend, so I done whatever that trend was 6 to 8 months prior.
Yeah.
And that's my like I like to be a trend starter.
You are.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do love it though.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a basic bitch.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If you do it well.
I agree.
And you stand out.
I mean, I've been there. Like, I remember one time I was walking home from a Starbucks back in college, and because there were like 3 Starbucks on my college campus.
As I should.
And I was wearing Uggs, and I was wearing Lululemon leggings, And I thought, whoa.
God fucking damn.
I'm really epitomizing the basic bitch aesthetic.
And you were a blonde white girl at that point.
I was.
Now she's a redhead white girl.
I am. I don't know if I disclosed this on the podcast.
We did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
This is fake.
Yeah. But it works so well.
Thank you.
And honestly, I showed you, but like I want to go like red.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it at some point.
I totally.
My thing is I'm doing my male gaze right now, where I'm just like kind of like going for what they want. But at one point, I am gonna go with like a really bright red because I think I would pull it off really well.
The thing is with the male gaze is like I don't think the type of men that you're into even care about like the typical like what women perceive to be appealing to the male gaze.
I guess that's true. Like they appreciate like an artsy girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think if we were to dress for the male gaze, we'd be in skinny jeans and black t-shirts.
Not skinny jeans, but they would wear like low-waisted baggy jeans.
Yeah.
And then like
a black going on top.
Yeah.
I think that's appealing to the male gaze.
Yes. Okay.
And like
because they don't want somebody that's like too standoffish.
Exactly. They don't want someone that's like actually knows who they are and is confident in that.
Confidence is something that's rare, honestly.
I mean, in LA.
Because then there's the difference
Yeah.
between confidence and cocky.
Agreed.
Where people can look at me and try to find which one it is. But I like to say it's confidence.
I think it's confidence.
I think I just know what I want and what I need. I don't think that's cocky.
I agree.
What would define myself as cocky though?
I mean, I think that if you walked into every room thinking like if you were the hottest bitch there, which I mean you usually are. But like if you were like went into a bar and were like, oh, I need to leave, everyone here is so much uglier or whatever.
Well, we can't see that because we just literally posted a TikTok of us saying that.
Okay, but I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
we don't
are.
I mean, I think there's a fine line. I think that like when you're confident, there is a sense of self that you understand and that you embrace. When you're cocky, I think that you're doing it because you think everyone is less than. I think for myself, like I think that like I know I'm beautiful, but I also know that Jordan is beautiful, and I'm not gonna like take offense if a guy goes for Jordan versus going for me. I think that's the difference. I think cocky people tend to get offended a lot easier.
That's interesting you say that because I don't think of myself as cocky at all. However, I do feel like somewhat insecure when I realize that like I'm not their type.
Right, which I'm like types last week.
It makes me like feel some sort of way to be like, oh, like what is it about me that is like off-putting? Mm-hmm. But I guess it's not even that. It's just like I find certain men attractive and other beautiful men I find not attractive.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like it's literally all personal preference, and it really shouldn't affect me the way it does. But it's definitely something that I am working on in therapy.
You know, one thing is I never thought Zac Efron was attractive. And so I always thought that was really weird because everyone was obsessed with him. And I was like, okay, so do I just not find pretty, like, guys attractive? I think it's just the fact that they're super, like, he was, like, super, like, buff. And I love buff guys.
I agree. I'm not usually into, like, the jockey type.
Yeah, no. Yeah. The athletes.
Yeah.
Unless it's, like, a skinny athlete.
Like a basketball player.
Yeah, or soccer players? Soccer
players
are, like, kind of, like...
They're often short, though, I feel.
Really? I didn't really notice. I don't date athletes. That's
right.
That's a swipe left for me.
No,
typically.
I went through like a football player phase in college.
Athletes love me. I hate them.
Every man loves you.
No, but like athletes specifically, for some reason, I don't know what it is.
It happens. Yeah. They probably see you and they're like, oh, she works out. We can work out together.
Yeah.
You know what I hate?
What?
Having to go out in a big group.
Okay, that's another hot take. And maybe this is because of the phase that we're in, right?
Yeah.
Where we've gone out by ourselves, we see how successful it can be.
Yeah.
And then when you have a bunch of guy friends, which also I would like to say, I mean, she's come out with my friend group quite a bit, but I tend to have more guy friends than girlfriends. And when you're going out with them, in LA specifically, because I feel like this isn't as common in like NorCal or like other places, it's very difficult to, the ratio aspect is what they care about. So on Friday, we ended up being on the list for this one party, and it was at a bar, and they, because of how big our group was, doesn't matter how many guys or girls, they were just like, you're not on the list. And we were like, bullshit. We know that we are. And
but there were 12 of us.
Yes. And so they were just like, we can't get you in. And
they're like, not unless every man wants to pay $50 a head.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Which would have been like $300, and they would have only let us put it on one card.
Which also, that's not even like, I would rather just buy a table at that point.
Yeah. Or there's so many bars in LA. Like, we don't need to pay $300 to go to this specific one.
No. I mean, traveling in groups can be very difficult because, one, Ubers, getting in, getting drinks. It's like, I enjoy being around a lot of people, but when you, especially during events like Halloween, you would hope that it's so much easier to just like be with your friends. It's not.
That's why house parties are such a vibe.
They are, but then they're not. Because then we went to 2 house parties afterwards.
Yeah.
And they weren't the vibe. The people were weird. Like, even there was other influencers at like some of these events, and I was just like, this is a fucking weird party for you to be at. Like, I don't know. Maybe I was too drunk at that point.
Yeah.
Intoxicated.
But then we throw a house party. And that shit's
We did throw a house party. It was so fun.
I had a great time.
I had a great time.
Okay, good.
It was the first time that Jordan was joining my festivities.
Yay.
And she killed it. Yeah, we spent the entire day setting up, which was just a lot of fun.
It honestly just like making everything look pretty and having someone that you like that you're hosting with. Yes. It was just like a really fun day.
And there's no pressure either. I'm like, if 0 people show up or if everyone shows up, I'm like, great. And I mean, a good chunk of people showed up for sure.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing that pissed me the fuck off was people did not want to play games.
That was so weird.
We played 1 rage gauge and that was it. And then like beer pong was like, I had to like convince people. Like everyone was just so, which maybe I'm like, that's kind of adorable because then everyone wanted to just talk to each other.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And like we also had a photo booth set up, and like then also other people had like, we had a lot of photographer friends, so a lot of people were going around taking pictures. And I mean, I will gladly take the W for the fact that everyone got good content.
So real.
But yeah, we did a costume contest. It was really fun.
It was, and actually our guest today was the winner.
Yes,
of our costume
she killed
contest.
it. We'll insert a little picture. Bink. She was Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, she killed it. She handmade everything.
She looked amazing. I was finding little like crosses everywhere when I was cleaning up the next day, like charms.
But that's true
off.
DIY.
But exactly. I mean, I was also finding Alyssa's little seashells everywhere.
That was so cute. So our friend Alyssa, she was a rainbow fish, and so she was handing out seashells.
It was really, so really cute.
Yeah. I love the creativity.
I do too.
Women really go off in that. And honestly, I was watching on TikTok, the amount of people that did different costumes this year, they went off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like, even though everyone's kind of like figuring their shit out of like what they are, like the content creators of like Halloween costumes, so different. So like DIY.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I love not just going to like Spirit Halloween and buying like a pre-made outfit. Like, I love people that, even if it's something that's like maybe a little more basic, like they put their own spin on it and DIY everything, and I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, they kill it.
Yeah. So on the opposite end of creativity, can we talk a little about costume repeaters?
God, it infuriates me, but also I might be hypocritical.
Oh.
So this is my perspective. At first, I was like, outfit repeaters, why the fuck would you do that? Like, that's embarrassing. Don't do that. But the other end of it is when you have these last minute parties, you're like, oh shit, I did not put together 7 different outfits. I'm stuck on my 4th one. What am I going to do? It's like, do you just put together a shitty outfit, right? It's the bar. Shitty outfit or repeat a really good outfit. The downside of repeating the good outfit is you can no longer get content. You can't shoot anything.
Yeah.
Because then everyone's going to be like, she wore it again.
Yeah.
Because I don't worry about I don't worry about the aspect of like people seeing me in that outfit because it's a new group of people. Nobody's gonna give a fuck. But it's pictures. If I take pictures with friends and they post it, then I'm like, it's the same shit.
But I mean, a lot of the people we went out with on Friday wore the same costume to our party on Saturday.
Way to just call them out. We love you, but
I'm just
be original.
Not even that. It's just like, unless you're DIYing everything from scratch, it's
like Sydney, she killed it.
Exactly. Like for Sydney, I'm like, wear that as many times as you can.
Yes, and also outside of Halloween.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I think it's like, she also just made the most beautiful, well constructed costume.
And she does that every year.
Then she should literally be wearing that 365.
Yeah.
But for someone who's literally wearing like a onesie, like I'm sure you have like a button down and boxers in your house. Yeah. You could be risky business the next night. Like there's so many easy last minute DIY costumes. Maybe it's that they
love the outfit.
I guess, but like I love so many of my outfits that I wear on a night out, and then I take photos in it. I see people in it, and I go, okay, how can I restyle these pieces?
So for my first dates, I have a go-to first date outfit.
Oh, what is this?
So I wear the same thing because I know it's super hot.
Yeah.
And the second outfit, I'm like, all right, it's based off of like what the vibe is.
Mm-hmm.
But I will always wear the same first date outfit because I feel good in it, and I never have to question whether or not it's like, I don't have to like, it's just there.
Is it a dress over jeans?
Maybe.
Okay, no, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what did you wear on your last first date that I can recall?
Yes.
The silver dress with jeans?
Silver. The reptile one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that one I purposely bought because I was like, I feel like this would be super sexy. I feel like it would be really good. I haven't gone on another date because guys don't ask me out on dates, but I will say when I was single back then in like 2020, I would wear the same outfit. It was like this red pant with like this bedazzled t-shirt and like these heels. And like it was like my go-to. Because I think that with a first date, you tend to get like more nervous.
Yeah.
But if you feel super good because you know the outfit's good, you don't have to question things.
Yeah.
So like in my head, maybe it's the same for Halloween. They're like, this is really good. I know I'm going to feel good in it. I'm going to wear it again.
Okay, I respect that.
Also, I mean, it's kind of expensive. LA is expensive. Like I literally like ditched a full outfit because I was like, this is just way too much money I'm going to be spending on it for one time wear.
I mean, I honestly like didn't really buy anything for my Halloween costumes this year. I'm a little thrifty with it.
I know.
Like the only thing I bought was like the netting for my mermaid costume.
So crazy.
But everything else I had, like that skirt was like vintage. It was my mother's. I did buy the top off Poshmark, but I mean I'm gonna wear that this summer as a bikini.
Right.
And like what I'm wearing tonight, I'm doing Avril Lavigne tonight.
Yeah, we're going to a Y2K party.
And I'm just wearing everything I previously owned because it was a very last minute thing, and like, maybe it's because I have the privilege of living at home and I can go raid my like father and my brother's closets because I like took a tie from them, and I mean that's pretty much it. Otherwise I had like a white t-shirt and I had baggy green pants and like my sambas. And I did go and steal one of my sister-in-law's little like fingerless gloves to make it a little more edgy.
But I think maybe this is just my perspective, is like I feel like it's harder to find costumes as like an half Asian person. Like I can't like do the same things as like a white woman.
Really? You don't feel like you'd be comfortable doing like...
No.
Okay.
I think I also struggled with my like being Asian for like a really long time. It wasn't until very recently, honestly, in the past couple of years, where I like accepted that I was Asian. Like I was so whitewashed, only white friends.
Oh.
That's always been my thing.
Interesting. Well, I hope you know that you're extremely beautiful.
Thanks.
And
no, it was until like, well, no, it wasn't until, but like one fun fact that my friend told me was that statistically, half Asian, half white women are the most beautiful women in the world.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that statistic.
Which I didn't know was like a thing. Like it did like a full ass study on it, and I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I don't have to feel so guilty about having American and Asian heritage within myself. I feel like mixed people struggle with identity because we don't identify with one certain thing.
Yeah.
But like especially as like an Asian, I just for some reason, maybe it's because like back in like the early 2000s when we were watching TV and stuff, like it wasn't present. Then it pisses me off when people are like, oh, there's too many women, there's too many black girls, there's too many Asian women that are like a part of like the main characters. And I'm like, bitch, we have not had this ever. I had Mulan.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Anyways.
But I'm glad that you've come to like love and accept yourself.
Yeah. It's taking time for sure. I also think like dating men, half of them at the beginning fetishized me, and then the other half like thought that I was beautiful for like who I was.
Yeah. This is like kind of weird, but since I grew up in a very like Asian centric place, like I grew up in Koreatown, like I went to like majority Korean elementary school, like I was very much like we would like it was weird that if you had like a PB&J and not like
that's right, you were mentioning that.
So I don't know, I guess I've always just been, I wouldn't say like jealous, but like I've always admired like Asian beauty. And like it's always been like the standard for me. It's been like the most beautiful women at my school are like these Asian women.
Crazy. Did they get attention from males?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Like I always felt like I was like the weird one, like this like white blonde.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because I went to a Christian university and everyone wanted to be with a blonde white girl.
I mean, honestly, USC was like one of the first places where it was like being a blonde white girl was like
normal.
It was like that was everyone.
Yeah.
And it was weird, honestly.
Isn't it weird how ethnicity does play such a large role into your identity of like.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it does. Like that sounds silly, but it like in your identity and the confidence that it brings within like a normal day-to-day basis, like who you're friends with, who you date, like. You question things. Yeah.
Have you seen these two girls on TikTok / Twitter? Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips?
Remind me what they do.
They are OnlyFans creators / very big in the porn space. They're both these like British blonde women.
Yes, they're like big on TikTok, right?
Yes, exactly.
She's like one of them. Blonde.
They're both
blonde. Okay, well that doesn't help me.
One of
them's like pushing really hard of like saying like this is what pisses me off. Is she says I ran through 101 people.
I think that's Lily Phillips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is she saying ran through?
Yeah, she's the one. Never mind.
Wait, what?
I was just like she's the one being run through, but
yeah, I mean it's okay. I get for all women empowerment.
Yeah,
do like, what you want to do. We support you, girly. If that's a dream of yours, then good for you. But
she's like, I fucked 100 men in one day. Like
101 men.
Yeah. 101 men in a single day.
Like they signed contracts. Her agency was like working on it.
But the thing is she didn't even require testing.
Yeah, she was just saying condoms.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they break, what?
Then you're fucked.
Yeah.
But the other one, so I've seen way more of Bonnie Blue content.
Okay. I have not seen any of that. I've seen the other girl.
So I originally, the first time I ever saw these two girls, I saw a Twitter video, the one of them, where they were doing a train with all of these men.
Okay.
And they took this video of the two of their faces and like from up here.
Okay.
And they're like clearly naked.
Okay.
And then they showed like the feet of like
all
37 men. Yeah. And it was going viral on Twitter. And so I was like, okay, who are these women? And so I go on TikTok and this woman, Bonnie Blue, she's claims to be 24.
Okay.
She looks quite a bit older, I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of English women do, though.
Yeah, no, filler's unregulated in England, so it's
and
like...
also just the way they do their makeup.
That too, yeah. Chavs, is that what they call it?
Okay,
is that the men?
I don't want to take out you guys.
Oh, sorry, British people.
I mean, I love
skins.
Continue.
But no, I was watching this like podcast she did.
Yeah. And
she was saying that married men are in their absolute right to cheat on their wives if their wife doesn't go down on them.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, she was like...
Wait, so they're like stupid porn stars.
Exactly.
Oh, that's disappointing.
They're saying like, if you as a man are providing for your family and you get home and your wife doesn't even do the bare minimum of going down on you, then I'll pleasure you for free. That's what she says. Because they have sex with all these men for free.
Just for content.
So
they sign off on the fact that they can post it.
Well, they don't even. Well, I guess I haven't.
So they're making money off of these random men.
Yeah.
For the pleasure, so that they're not technically women in prostitution.
They claim to enjoy it.
Yes, that's what I've seen that.
The other thing that I think is pretty disgusting is Bonnie will go, she's doing like a college tour where, yes, where she goes and she has sex with, as she calls them, barely legal 18-year-olds and has sex with all of these college freshmen.
Aww, who are probably losing their virginity.
Exactly. And
they're like so proud because it's a porn star.
Exactly. And like there are like post-mortem interviews where the guys come out after and they're like, yeah, it was pretty great. Or like
2 minutes of glory.
Exactly.
That's so sad.
No, and it's kind of just, I don't know, it's just like putting a really bad taste in my mouth and like.
It's like the same thing of like the Hawktua girl. Like she like had this one thing that was over-sexualized and then now her podcast is all about that rather than like whatever the fuck she wants to talk about.
Yeah. The fact that it's called Hawktua.
Yes.
Like, that's a clever name. Like, I'll give it to her.
Yes, but also, like, my 12-year-old sister and my 16-year-old brother are talking about that podcast. Well, and they have no idea what the fuck is happening.
And she's doing, like, celebrity poker tour and all of these things. And I'm just like, how does a woman making one dirty joke afford her all of these opportunities?
It's a sad reality we all live in.
I literally hadn't even... So I'm a pop culture reporter in my day job.
Yeah.
And I had not heard of Hawktua until a friend's boyfriend asked me.
Yikes.
Like, she went viral, like, on a Tuesday. And over that weekend, he said to me, he's like, oh, do you know Hawktua? And I was like, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my god, how are you working pop culture and you don't even know what that is?
Oh, I'm sorry, not a male.
Exactly. I'm like, he showed it to me, and I go, yeah, I think only straight men have seen this.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. That's exactly what I've kind of said to him, and I was just like, oh, so you think it's funny because a pretty woman made a dirty joke, and you don't think we can be funny
otherwise?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he just went silent, and I was like, yeah.
So disappointing.
I know, it really is, and like no hate to her, but just
get your bag, girl.
Exactly, get your bag. Like, I think any woman that like went viral profiting off men, like if they want to get their bag,
that's majority of the time, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I just think it's kind of atrocious that that's what went viral.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't even that funny.
No.
But you do you. Go to the Met Gala. I don't give a fuck. Do you see that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande threw a whole private Wicked screening for the Kardashians?
I did see that.
What do you think about that?
I think that it's just normal. At this point, I'm like, they get to have, like, they get a certain status and they get to see whatever they want to see. They have so many children. I'm like, they probably all were super excited. Which also, talking about children, North turning 7 years old.
No, North is like 11. You mean Stormy.
Oh, wait, yeah, Stormy. But also, North?
Yeah.
North looks like she's like 16 years old.
Oh my god, yeah.
But she's like 11.
Yeah.
Stormy is turning 7, looks, and should be 3 years old. Like, I feel like, I don't know about you, but, like, there's certain, like, when I think about my family, I'm like, oh, that one cousin is forever 7 years old. But now she's, like, 21 and married, and I'm like, oh, you're not the same.
I think I'm not
Kardashians are so, like, very much a similar. Where, like, I'm like, I watch their shit, and I'm like, all right. And then seasons go by, and I'm like, when did you get older?
I get that. I mean, it's just...
Do you watch the Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
I mean, I did in the beginning, and I watched the first couple seasons of their Hulu show.
Okay. Do you like it?
Of course. Like, it's entertaining.
Right?
Usually. I mean, there are a lot of filler episodes I've found. Yeah. But I thought a really interesting discourse online was the fact that people thought that it was very tone deaf of Wicked to be having a screening just for the Kardashians.
Why, though?
This one tweet that got like literally 2 million views was saying this would have been a much better PR stunt to have this like at an orphanage or at like a women's home.
Is it a PR stunt?
Oh, of course. Like they only did it for the PR, you know. Like I don't think Ariana and Cynthia would have gone to the Kardashians' home and put on a whole like red carpet screening if they weren't the Kardashians and their children. But I do think like they garnered so much PR from that. And even this discourse is PR.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it was a bad PR move. But I think it's interesting how the internet reacted to it.
I think they knew the internet would react to it.
Exactly.
I think the Kardashians just in general have like such a status that they've created for themselves that why wouldn't they take advantage of the fact that they're the Kardashians?
It's true, but
that's
I mean,
my perspective.
They could have gone to the
I'm
premiere.
also like just so pro Kardashian because I'm just like, let them fucking live their lives.
Why?
I'm like,
why do you feel that way?
I just feel like they get so much shit for no reason. In my head, they're just kind of a family who's always been in the limelight, who live their lives, that live this glamorous lifestyle. People get upset about the things that they do for no fucking reason. And I also think that the show doesn't show who they truly are. Like, I know people that know people, and it's silly to think that when you think of like the celebrity aspect, and maybe this is like my perspective of like when you're in that inner 1%, right? Where I used to hang out.
That's not even the 1%. That's the 0.001%.
The 0.001%, right? Where I used to hang out at people's houses, and they're normal fucking people. Like there's nothing different or special about them. They just have money. That truly is it. And if they're able to like get paid or have this experience with their kids where they can like be a part of this wicked experience, which is such an iconic thing to a certain audience that they wouldn't even usually touch, why not take advantage of that? Like I get that there's like other, places and ways to do it, but the Kardashians are forever the Kardashians. Yeah. And it's like, I'm sure low key Ariana Grande is a fan of the Kardashians.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have both gone if they didn't want to.
Exactly. Obviously, after what we learned about Timothee last week.
Yeah.
I'm like, she wouldn't fucking be there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's my perspective.
That is interesting. Do you want to hear something really crazy? Kardashian adjacent.
Okay.
So I had the same math teacher as Courtney and Kim. And he told me that he was teaching Kim once during the OJ trial.
Oof.
And Kim said, yeah, my parents put like the suitcase, which in the trial there was like this big suitcase of evidence that went missing and no one could find.
Okay.
And she goes, yeah, they put this like suitcase in my closet and I don't really know what to do about it. And my math teacher, he says at the time he like heard this and was freaking out and he's like, do I tell someone? Do I do anything? He didn't end up doing anything about it. But he told us 10 years later, 15 years later, and now I'm like sitting on this information like, well, now OJ's dead, but
yeah,
I think he did it, you guys.
I was shocked.
I mean, the fact that he wrote a book, If I Did It.
Yeah.
Let's just say I've never done anything and then speculated, like, okay,
maybe
if I did this. No, I think he's a murderer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How crazy was the Timothee Chalamet lookalike contest?
Okay. First of all, why the fuck did that blow up? Like, why was GQ there? Why was Vogue there? Like, what made it so big? Do you know?
Kind of. So I know that the person who organized it put posters all around New York City.
Like a disgusting amount.
Yes, it is. Like,
okay.
To the point where if you lived in New York, you saw these posters.
Okay, so no matter what, it was around.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it was in Washington Square Park, which is very like central. Like anyone can just show up there. Okay. And it was also going around online. Like it got put on Twitter.
Okay.
I remember thinking like when I first saw it.
So you saw it before it even happened?
Oh yeah, for weeks before.
Really?
Yes, it had been planned for like maybe 2 months.
Oh, see, I was disconnected from that, so I didn't know this was like already going to be a big thing.
Yeah, no. So people have been posting about it. The organizer had been putting up posters since the summer. Because I remember seeing a tweet like 2 months ago that was a quote tweet of the poster saying Timothee Chalamet is like the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Okay. And he took it. Like Timothee himself showed up to the Lookalike.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm sure he like knew about this way before to like plan to be. Because does he live in New York?
Well, he's there right now shooting for his new film.
Okay.
But yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
Also, the winner not look like Timothee.
I know. Honestly, I guess they're just
not many of them did, to be honest.
I know. I guess the ones that actually look like him are like off fucking their hot girlfriends.
Yeah.
In France.
As they should.
Yeah, that's probably where they live.
Yeah.
Have Timothee Chalamet lookalike contest in Paris, and then you'll have some real winners.
Yeah.
But
Timothee.
Today, I saw that someone's trying to organize a Zayn Malik lookalike contest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That also would be a hard one.
I know. I've never seen another man look like Zayn Malik.
Can we just get a bunch of, like, Austin Butlers together? He's my celebrity crush.
Austin Butler.
He's so hot.
Austin Butler lookalike in Raven's bedroom.
Yes. Absolutely. You guys can come here.
Yes.
We just plan it out.
And let me see who Jacob Elordi lookalike contest.
Yeah, that'd also be a good one. Imagine it's just like a really short one.
Yeah. Iconic. There was actually when I went viral on my other podcast for saying that Jacob Elordi and Olivia Jade dating is the worst thing that could ever happen to me personally.
Why? Oh, because
I went to middle school with her and
feels personal.
in college. And he's like the hottest man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Elordi?
Yes. He's just tall. Exactly. He's like 8 feet tall and he has a beautiful face. Come on. And he's Australian and he has amazing style. He always has like
the style is what helps and the height is what helps. If you take away those two things, he would be average.
His face.
He would be average.
If he's average, I'm diving into the pool of average. I'm really excited because we are about to have our first ever guest.
Yes. This is going to be a very normal week to week thing. Is we have so many friends in LA that are just so incredibly talented, whether it be as musicians or producers or writers or actors or whatever they're doing. And I think LA is such a hard place to be, and so I'm just very excited to kind of share their stories and where they're at and like the things that they're going to be doing, because I believe in my friends and I think
I believe in them too.
Yeah, and it's just like the passion and the work, the hard work that they do is like incredible. And so we have our friend Sydney here, who was a part of a twin girl band.
Yeah, a duo with her twin sister called Stereo Jane.
Absolutely insane. They've done it since they were little kids.
They've been doing it for 17 years now.
Which is insane. And they decided to, quote unquote, break up and essentially just go on their own ways. I think that both of them had different goals, and there just came to a point where also when you're twin sisters, there has to be some type of competition.
Absolutely, like comparison. And
my relationship with my siblings is so different.
Yeah.
And you have a brother. Yeah. And so it's like nothing about the same. So I'm very excited to have conversations with her and kind of hear about like what that looked like and like her time here in LA, because I also know she's like been here for like a hot minute.
Yeah. And I'm sure she has an amazing insight and advice. So I can't wait to talk to her.
Yes. So welcome, Sydney Taylor.
Yay!
Welcome, Sydney Taylor.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for, oh my god, hi. Oh my god, wait.
Wait, this is progress.
It's a big moment.
Winnie is
Winnie.
We talked to you soon. All right, come sit down. Good girl.
Good girl.
We've known each other for probably 4 or 5 years now. No, it's probably
around 4.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, because we met in 2020.
Didn't we meet on Halloween?
It was around Halloween, but do you want an inside scoop that I haven't told you?
Wait, what?
Okay, so this is a little bit of an outlier of this conversation, but when I first saw you, it was because my roommate at the time, who's in our friend group, she was like, hey, there's this beautiful woman, and she's so intimidating. And I was like, oh, is she going to be out tonight? And I was like, and she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, how much can I bet you that I can become best friends with her?
Shut up.
And it was all a bet. It was all a bet.
Oh my god, our whole relationship is a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a farce.
And she was like, she's like just so cool. And I was like, watch this. By the end of the night, me and you had like taken pictures together, exchanged our information. Your sister came over, and I was like, fucking so easy.
Oh my god.
That was the beginning of it all, and then of course me and you actually became friends. But I just thought it was super funny because I was like, I don't think that like beauty should be any type of intimidation. Like I think that like I love to be friends with beautiful women, obviously, but I just thought it was super funny, and I don't think I ever like shared that.
Wait, that's so cute. I can't believe you never told me that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was saving it for the pod.
Yes.
Yeah.
You knew 4 years ago that you were going to make a podcast.
Sam gave me mics back in 2020 for my birthday because she knew I wanted to start something like this, and I just never started it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. And here we are.
Sometimes it takes a little jet.
Yeah. It takes meeting the right person. Yeah. You're a musician?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Can you
am.
tell us a little bit about your origin story?
Yes, I started a band with my twin sister when I was around 8 years old. And we were like fully going for it
At 8 years
Yeah,
old.
like we played our first show at the New Way Bar
Where the fuck is that?
in Detroit.
I was gonna say. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that was our first show.
Okay.
And we were warming up for our dad.
Nice.
Because he was in a bar band.
Okay.
So just always been around music, and then we were in the band together.
Was that something you were actually interested in, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it
I
in
started
your
singing when I was a baby.
Okay.
Like I was like 2 years old, and I was like belting singing. Like I've always wanted to be a singer.
Training. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Were you and your sister like together being like, we want to start something, or was your dad like, oh, you guys are both talented, we need to start
Dad
something?
definitely was like, I'm in a bar band. My daughters are playing instruments. Let me just focus on this. And like, so he definitely was like, let's do this. And yes, pivoted and was like, okay, I'm going to hand it off to my daughters now.
Nice.
And yeah, the rest is history.
And it worked.
Yeah,
It did
God,
work.
you guys are both
Jane.
beautiful and talented.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, you guys did
Thank
really
you.
well, right? When was
Yeah.
like your first like hit?
I mean, we signed to a record label when we were 16.
Wow.
We were 16 and we signed, did online school for 2 more years, moved out here. We were 18.
Okay.
So I feel like that was kind of our first big like success,
Right.
I'd say. We released a few songs in high school before then
Okay.
that were doing pretty well. We had like a team around us that was really helping, and like it was doing pretty well, but definitely like not typical viral success,
Right.
you know?
Also, virability back then, not
So-
at all the same.
So different.
Yes. I am obsessed with how you perform live. Like
Thank
that's
you.
like the main thing that I tell people. Like people that have never heard you, people I try to introduce your music to. At our Halloween party I played your music. I'm just like like Sid live is such a different experience, but it's like it's so similar to obviously like what your music sounds like, but you were meant to play live. Like I want you to be touring with all these different people because people do not experience you properly unless you are live, which is so rare. Like there are just not that many artists out there that like truly are incredible live artists, and that's what makes an artist a true artist versus like being a performer. You know, like you can do both, but like I think your live aspect of like how your voice sounds is like so special, and so I'm really pushing for you to like do that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's where I started. So like that's what I've always wanted to do, and like playing live is just like my biggest thing when it comes to the music industry. Like I go to so many live shows, and I'm constantly seeing people, and I'm constantly wanting to be up there, and it's just I really want to go on tour. That's
I think
that's
it's
a big
funny
goal.
because I think Sid and I run into each other all the time at shows.
Oh my gosh, it's like an ongoing joke wherever I am. Like if it's any type of show, I'll be with someone and I'll be like, "We'll see Raven. She'll be here." No, I
It's
promise
'cause I
you,
just
and it always
randomly-
happens.
Yeah, I just randomly show up to things and I don't tell people because also I don't realize that other people will go to these shows.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
you
sometimes.
buy ticket. You're like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to that. Buy a ticket," and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I'll just show up." And
Yeah.
you don't even think that anybody's gonna be there.
No, and I also think it's because I'm comfortable with going to shows by myself, and then it's just a plus if I get to run into you or anybody else.
True. Yeah.
It's so fun.
You're the Lone Ranger.
Oh yes, absolutely. I don't need anybody.
No, now that I get like, because of my day job, I'll get invited to a show, I'm like, I get a +1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me.
I'm always a good time.
Yeah.
We actually saw Holly Humberstone recently. She did so good.
She every time I see her, she's better and better, which I never think could be possible. But
Yeah.
she's
She's
so
incredible.
good. I
Which
love
you were
her.
there with your boyfriend,
Yes,
and he's the best.
he is the best.
And you guys been together for
5.5 years.
Oh my
you guys are practically
God.
married.
I know.
How did you
A
guys
long
meet?
time.
We met through a mutual friend, Dallas. Plug it, Dallas Heart guys. But they did a TV show together.
Yeah.
And I think they were filming season 3.
Okay.
And
Okay,
Dallas
so
was
dating an actor.
oh my gosh. Guys.
Is it as horrible as it sounds?
It's not as bad as it sounds. It's not as
Okay.
bad as you guys are making it in your
I know.
last episode.
I just have very strong feelings about it.
And I do too, clearly.
Yeah.
It's just, we've been burned.
Yeah,
Well,
I
at least
think-
I've been burned by an actor.
How many actors have you guys dated?
Properly dated 0, but that's for a reason. 'cause I
There we
swipe
go.
left
Been ghosted by? Maybe thrice.
That I ghost
Okay.
all the time. I mean, actors are just such a. I think because I hate this idea of like musical theater, which I feel like couples with that a lot because they do all these like improv classes. No shame.
Yeah, wait, what's the
like, but also in perspective, like a lot of my old roommates have been actors. Like I think women actors are very different than guy actors. I think there's an ego to them that I think that
fuck your boyfriend. No.
that I just like can't really get over. Like I think that there's an ego that's so different than a musician. Like musicians have like this certain type of ego, and actors have a certain type of ego. That's my perspective.
I disagree. I think that you're gonna find an ego in any man in any workspace. I think in any career you're gonna find somebody with an ego.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I don't know if I'd say any workspace. Well, sure, maybe they have egos, but I think like the specials, the actors, the musicians,
like the actors that think they're hot shit when they like have released 2 projects.
I mean, yeah. So there's a big industry. Of course, there are going to be people like that. There are people like that in the music industry too.
Yeah,
I see it everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's just a lot easier to like.
I just like at least they can write a song about me. What are actors gonna do?
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why I'm like write more songs about me, guys. I've had already a couple. It's quite nice.
No, that's why you like musicians.
I know. I love musicians.
No, like exactly. Actors are just gonna like act out a scene someone else wrote.
With my boyfriend, I think he is so detached from like the fame part of it. Like he doesn't like interviews. He doesn't like photo shoots. He's not really like into himself in that way. And I think it's very much a craft for him, and he really loves film, and like he really loves just the movie making process. He wants to be a director as well. He's written some scripts.
He's a little bit older as well.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Not older as in like old.
Which I think makes him a little bit more grounded, like as an actor when you're like a little bit older.
When did he start?
He started when he was like early 20s, I want to say. Yeah.
Which I think even gives him a different edge versus like the kids that like started when they were like 8 years old.
True.
Like, I'm going to become this big thing.
The Disney kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a whole other group.
It is, truly. Yeah.
I'm scared of those kids.
Yeah.
I know a few of them, and like it's interesting just seeing their take on LA and their take on life, and like I think they're just so used to LA that like nothing phases them, and it kind of scares me a little bit.
I feel like in the coupling of actors and the ego aspect, I think another obviously huge thing that everyone kind of puts on to actors is this romantic relationships that they typically will build with their scene partners or people that they're working with. They're gone for long periods of time. Has that affected you at all? Like, do you feel comfortable?
I want to say the first time he like booked one of his really big things was when he was season 1 of Acapulco.
Okay.
And that was like right after COVID was kind of like dying down.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, you got to be gone for 3 months. And they weren't allowed to fly back. They weren't allowed to have visitors because it was COVID.
Yeah.
So that for me was really difficult. But like, I don't think it had anything to do with like trust and like being away from him. Like I really would have missed him, and like I did miss him a lot.
Yeah.
And then as the seasons have gone on, I kind of just get used to it. It's more normal.
Yeah.
He goes away. I have my me time. He has his time.
Did you tour throughout that time too?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
No.
So it hasn't been opposite at this point.
Not yet.
Okay.
I did go on a tour, but it was for 2-3 weeks. It was very small, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But like, obviously, the goal is to do like a long tour,
like 6-month tours.
Yes.
Which will really test it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think that he's so confident in me, and I'm so confident in him, and that goes with the trust of making sure that he's not gonna cheat on me, and he's gonna develop these personal relationships with the people that he's on set with. Yeah. And I just have to have faith that like he's not gonna do anything, which I don't think he will.
And it's coupled also in like your own self. You know, like as long as you hold true to who you are, then your main hope will be that your partner does the same. Yeah. Regardless of what occupation that they do.
Exactly. So, and if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. No, they aren't. And I think there are some actors, they might not be as good as my boyfriend because they can't separate the emotions.
Sydney Sweeney and like fucking what's his name, Glenn Powell. When that whole movie was coming out, it was a whole fact that they created this big connection, and then in the end of it, wasn't it just like this big PR stunt?
Because she's still engaged.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not with his.
Yeah, no, they broke up,
but.
She's so engaged.
Yeah, PR stunt at the end of the day.
Yeah. So sometimes what you're seeing is like completely not it. And they're also when they're doing these sex scenes and these kissing scenes, they're in front of 30 people on set.
Right.
Lights, camera, action.
Yeah.
They have a coordinator.
Yeah.
Like, it's not sexy whatsoever.
Yeah. But then you think about what was the We Live in Time with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, and then they called cut and they were still fucking, and we're like, whoa there. They're like,
I
we
didn't know
hear
that.
it. And I'm like, sure. But their chemistry is like incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And like then there's also the opposite end of it where Kristen Bell and Adam Brody during Nobody Wants This, and literally the husband of Kristen Bell was like, I wanted you guys to kiss so bad because he could tell how good their chemistry was.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the difference, right? Of like the respect of the acting
Mm-hmm.
and the insecurity otherwise.
Yeah. Because I think being an outside perspective, and I've never acted,
Yeah.
so at first it was like a lot for me.
Yeah.
He had a kissing scene with I
yeah.
think it was in
I
season
remember
1. He had a
this.
kissing scene at the end of the season,
Yeah.
and he told me about it, and I was like, "Who is she?" And he was like, "Well, she's a lot older than me," and I was like, "Okay, that makes me feel better."
Yeah.
But I'm like, who knows? Maybe if she was like some like young
Yeah.
like 20 something, like I would have been a little bit more jealous. I don't know. It
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
I
I
mean,
will.
it's definitely something to like prepare yourself, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
with like knowing like inevitably because he's a great actor,
Mhm.
like he's gonna be put in these amazing opportunities with these amazing actresses, and at the end of the day, we just have to be happy for him.
Yeah.
Insecure.
And
Yeah.
confident.
And same for you. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna have music videos, you're gonna go on tour, you're gonna be with these amazing musicians, these amazing other actors that like at the end of the day, he's just gonna have to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So supportive and so
Yeah.
sweet. He's there for me when I
And
need
he
him.
drummed in your last show.
Yes, he was drumming in my last show.
Absolutely, we love
And
a
nobody-
multi-talented person.
I love that nobody knows he has a past life.
I didn't
It's
know
so
he was
sick.
your drummer at that show.
Yeah.
Even. Like I was
Yeah.
there, I had no freaking clue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I,
but also my
somebody-
eyes were just glued to you.
Yeah,
I was,
no, I was gonna
"Whoa."
say.
Thank you.
You're such like a rock star.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sid the Rocker Kid is very much an accurate name for you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I said you have a show coming up, right?
I do. Yes.
Show number 2.
Show
When
number
and
2.
where?
It's an acoustic show. Very short set. Actually, funny story. A friend of mine, really an acquaintance. I don't know her very well, but she's from my hometown. We've kind of known
Okay.
each other since I was back home. She is having a show at Hotel Cafe,
Okay.
and
I love
I'm warming
Hotel
up for her.
Cafe.
I love it there.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's a
The
classic.
vibe
Like,
is good.
just been going there since I first moved here. I feel like it's just like the classic spot that everybody's like, you want to find a new artist? Go there.
Yeah.
Going there.
Exciting. Nice.
And it's-
Are you releasing anything prior?
I don't know if it's going to be released in time. It actually might be released either the week before or the week after, but I have a single that's going to be released soon. And I'm gearing up for that.
Do we know the name of it? Can we reveal?
It's called Honeycomb.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
about
You know-
the drummer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like after the show, she was like, "Is Honeycomb like a song that's out already, or is it not?" And it was because everyone was singing along because
Yeah.
it's that catchy of a song.
hmm
What was the process in between choosing that song versus other songs to come out?
I honestly did a little like I asked a bunch of the friends and was just like, hey, what do you think should be the next song? And everybody's like, Honeycomb.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see what
an
happens.
Amazing song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's definitely a switch up from the
Yes.
first single,
Yeah.
which is the reason why I was like, maybe not.
No, but I
we-
think it gives diversity of like
Yeah.
what your sound truly can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was wondering if it was too much, like if too much of a difference.
Oh, I love
But I feel like it's all gonna come out anyway.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super exciting. We'll give you the floor if you want to plug whatever you want to plug that's
Yeah.
coming out.
Any
Any of your social medias.
I have an album coming out first quarter of the new year.
So exciting.
That's
So
the
we'll
goal.
definitely
That's
have
the
you
goal. Yes. And I'll be
Oh,
back and we can
yes.
talk more and we can
Can't wait.
discuss the who knows what will
Yes.
change by
Yeah.
then. I'm Sid the Rocker Kid on all socials. Artist name is Sid Taylor. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora, whatever your sauce is, use it, you know?
Sid
Thank
Taylor,
you guys for
everyone.
having me.
We love you.
Love
Thank
you.
you so much
Yes.
for being here and as our first ever guest.
Yes.
It really is an honor.
I know. Honestly, I was like, who is the perfect person to be here? And like, it was no question that it was going to be you.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you were able to make it.
I love this little tea time of ours.
Yay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
That was a fun conversation.
I know. I love that. I I mean, I'm just so excited to start talking to our friends about like anything and everything.
Me too.
So crazy that she has a boyfriend off of 5.5 years.
Oh my god.
Could not be me right now.
I know. Like, can you imagine if we were still with our exes?
But honestly, it's kind of crazy though, because I think I'm still like, no, that's bullshit. I'm not healing from it, but I think it's like crazy to put in perspective that like I could have been engaged to that person.
If I was still with my ex, this November would be year 5. Yeah.
Insane.
So, no, like, whenever I talk to someone, they're like, oh, we've been together for 5 years, 6 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, if I was still with the person I started dating in 2019,
So insane.
my life would be so different.
And we had gotten like a comment about, you know, being a little bit more vulnerable, especially within like our breakups. And so we would love to have a conversation with you guys about like what that breakups look like and like how it affected us and like how we're learning from it and growing from it. But in general, we'd love to give you our like little updates of like what's been going on because it's ever changing. I think every week is different.
Yeah.
Do you have anything exciting happening right now?
I do. Well, I was actually supposed to go on a date tonight.
I know. I kind of like told her that we we had some like issues because we're figuring this out, and hopefully the quality is like so much better right now. But yeah, I did force her to cancel the date.
No, we rescheduled. We didn't cancel,
Okay,
but
there we go.
I also have a date tomorrow night that I'm very excited for.
Okay, what's happening?
So we matched on Hinge.
Okay,
And
We love a Hinge date.
we're going in Halloween costumes for our date.
see, that is the commitment though. Imagine going on a first date in Halloween costumes. What are you dressing as?
I'm doing Olive from Easy A.
Oh, so good.
So okay, the reason though we're doing this is because he said. So the question is, are we going in costume?
Okay.
And I didn't want to be boring.
No.
And so I said, well, what are my options? Like, what are our options? And so he said, like, oh, I can be a cowboy or a minion. And I said...
The minion.
No, exactly. I said, I think going on a date with a minion would be super fun because I wouldn't be nervous.
Stop.
Yeah. And so he's going to be a minion. And then he said, okay, but what are you going to be?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, which of my costumes I have planned out in my brain would I be comfortable wearing on a first date?
And also you're like in public doing this.
Exactly. So Olive from Easy A, like I can just wear a really cute, my black, like off the shoulder corset, black jeans, and a red felt A.
Easy.
And that's gonna be like really cute, and I already have red hair, and I'll just do my makeup like her. Exactly. So I'm excited for this date. He has from what I can tell, we matched on Hinge. He had like some good answers to his prompts, and we've had some good convo.
Which is important for this
He
one.
also threw a Halloween party.
Okay.
So that made me be like,
Same
oh my god, so he has
vibes.
friends, first of all.
Yep.
And he's a good host.
We love that.
Yeah, so I'm excited. We'll obviously give you guys an update next week.
Yeah.
And
when's the last time you went on like a proper date?
oh my goodness. Probably
A couple weeks ago, yeah?
yeah, the proper date was probably the one that I took to Sid's show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could count that as a date. I mean,
besides that, it was the guy I met at No Vacancy.
because okay, then the question is what is considered a real date and what is considered just hanging out?
I mean, a real date is like,
Isn't it when they put in the initiative?
well, yes. I'm one where like if we're going on a date, if they ask me on our date or if I like suggest that we meet up in person, I go, okay, let me know where and when.
Oh.
Because in my last relationship, I was always the one to
planning it.
Exactly.
So was I.
So I no longer want to have to be that person.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have that responsibility.
Fun fact, throughout a 3-year-long relationship, my ex had asked and planned 1 date.
My ex planned 0.
Well,
so
okay,
you
if you
win.
count the first date, 2
My
dates.
ex didn't even plan that.
Crazy.
Yeah, no. I literally had to do everything in that relationship.
Why did we not have any red flags?
So I think the issue with my first relationship was I was convinced that I was not lovable.
Oh, so
And
you
so
were
when I found
right
someone that was interested in dating me,
okay.
I was like,
This is not a good start.
I mean, this is just true.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
like,
valid.
I think that a lot of other women have been like probably dealt with this, where it's just
Mm.
like I was convinced. It was my freshman year of college, and I was just like, men only want me for my body. Like no one loves me.
Wow.
Yeah. So we met pretty soon into my sophomore year, after I had spent about 4 months just like, okay, I'm no longer just hooking up with anyone. Like if someone actually wants to fuck me, they're gonna have to date me.
Okay.
They're gonna have to take me on a date at least.
Yeah.
And so we had started talking, and I could just immediately tell he was super into me.
Okay.
And so I suggested like we go do something, and I was
so
like,
you were the first one to initiate
I
the date.
was,
Crazy.
but like the first time we hooked up, like he was shaking, like that's how nervous he was, and so I was like, okay, he clearly likes me.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, we like became.
But the
official.
lack of effort is not excusable of nervousness.
Oh,
like, you guys
absolutely
need to be
not.
able to like get your shit together and like put in the effort of planning something. Like
Yeah.
I think that like I, since being single, like maybe been taken out on 2 dates. Also, I would like to say the first time I was ever taken on a proper date, I was 22 years old. I would never been asked out on a date prior, and yeah, I mean, like I like to plan dates, so like it was never in my head of like, oh, it's a big deal. But at the end of the day, it does. It matters. Like I think that's something that I definitely look for, is like I felt this lack of pursuit from my ex, that like I would love for a guy to like want to plan those things, to want to spend their money on me, because it's like it's a part of the relationship. Like it doesn't matter who makes more money, it's more of like who's willing to put in the effort and like the sacrifice of like trying to woo a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. Like me and my ex split the bill on our first date. And he was like watching the game the whole time. So many red flags. I was just like, I want someone to love me.
You know, it's funny, I actually just saw this TikTok of this woman being like, because I went through all these red flags in my last relationship, and then it just went bare minimum, bare minimum, bare minimum, because it's so true. It's like the bare minimum, once you get out of a red flag relationship, is like, you do not want to settle for anything less.
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking for.
Like,
so I'm very
excited
excited
for
for
him to pay for him too, you know?
Yeah. So it's like now you know that it's like the.
Nothing on fire?
Yeah. Hold on,
Fire!
fire!
Wait, fire! Now we know what we're looking for, and we have an exciting week coming up with dates.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I don't really have like dates going on.
I mean, you have the guy you're seeing's birthday.
Yes, his birthday party. And yeah, I mean, it's so funny because it's like, for me, I'm like, what does this mean? Like, because we haven't really communicated about like where we're at, and so I'm like, how serious is this to you? Like, is this a big deal? Is this not a big deal? For me, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really change the dynamic of what we've been doing. But to him, it could be like, oh my God, this is like such a big deal. But I'm bringing Jordan along because I'm like, I feel like it would put pressure on myself to show up to a party that I don't know anybody at, that's while I only know the host of that party. You know what I mean? Regardless if it's like a guy I'm seeing or not, I feel like that is pressure.
Yeah.
And so Jordan's already met him, so it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And plus I love a good birthday party.
Totally.
And I did buy him a gift.
Hot friends.
I know, I hope he does too.